Never run out of battery again with the INIU portable charger, the slimmest 10,000 milliamp hour power bank that keeps your devices charged on the go. Stay powered up wherever you go. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Death Race 2000 is part of a proud tradition of apocalyptic sci-fi movies that envision a future where humanity is utterly obsessed with cars. Directed by Paul Bartle and produced by Richard Corman, Death Race 2000 is both the best and worst place to dive into the franchise. On the one hand, the movie is legitimately fun and well-made, boasting an 82% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It has memorable performances from actors like Sylvester Stallone and David Carradine. On the other hand, this particular film will set a high bar that, depending on your personal preferences, the majority of the franchise will likely fail to live up to. But whether or not you start with this movie, Death Race 2000 is absolutely worth watching if you're going to explore the series at all. One of the many things that people may not know about Jason Statham is that he's a star in two separate car racing franchises. This is because, despite receiving modest critical acclaim and inspiring a cohort of fans, Death Race 2000 didn't get a follow-up film for more than a quarter century. By the time the series returned, the year 2000 had come and gone, so instead of a sequel, we got a remake simply titled Death Race. The story follows a champion racer known to his fans as Frankenstein, played by Jason Statham, who is forced to compete in the death race against other inmates for the entertainment of the rest of society. Death Race introduced its unique futuristic world to a whole new generation that hadn't even been born when the first film debuted. But, in stark comparison to the original movie, critics were not impressed. The remake stands at just 41% on Rotten Tomatoes, with many reviewers taking issue with the movie's lackluster plot and emphasis on mindless action sequences. Fans of 2008's Death Race were thrilled to learn that the movie was getting a follow-up just 2 years later, but they were probably a little disappointed when they found out that the cast of the first film wouldn't be returning. Instead, Death Race 2 sets itself up as a prequel, telling the origin story of Jason Statham's character from the first film. The movie follows Carl Lucas, played by Luke Goss, who is sentenced to life in prison for murdering a police officer. Rather than spending his days in a cell, Lucas finds himself forced to compete in the death race against other inmates. Death Race 2 tried to expand the franchise's universe and offer a bit of a different perspective on the titular race itself. The movie also features appearances from some beloved actors like Danny Trejo, Ving Rhames, and Sean Bean. Unfortunately, the fresh story, new cast of characters, and explosive-as-ever action didn't help the movie make more of an impression than its predecessor. Death Race 3, Inferno, continued the prequel story that was kicked off in Death Race 2. The new movie sees the return of Luke Goss's Carl, Frankenstein, Lucas, as well as several supporting cast members from Death Race 2, like Danny Trejo's Goldberg. Lucas is just one race away from winning his freedom, but the death race itself is going through a huge shakeup. The event's owner has been forced to sell the rights to the race, and the entire production is being turned into a global franchise. Death Race 3 is intended to be the connective tissue between the 2008 Death Race and its sequels. It follows Lucas as he navigates the new world of the death race, where anything can happen. The movie features some intense action sequences and explores the darker side of the human condition. Roger Corman, the producer who created the original Death Race 2000 and its only true sequel, thinks that the Death Race movies focus too much on the action and not enough on the subtext. He believes that independent or lower-budget films can afford to take chances and be revolutionary. While Corman's opinions may not be shared by all fans of the franchise, they are certainly worth considering when evaluating the series. Death Race 2000 actually has some literary inspirations. The movie was partially based on a short story called The Racer, written by Ib Melchior. Like the film, the story explores a futuristic America where unchecked violence and corporate greed run rampant. Melchior himself was more than just a sci-fi author. He was also a regular presence in Hollywood. If you want to watch some of the best car movies around, then Death Race 2000 and Death Race 2050 are the duo for you.